All right, Slash. Hey, thanks for
I'm
joining us
good.
here in Tucson today.
Yeah, it's good to be here. How you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, your new album, Orgy of the Dam, coming out on May 17th, and then you're going to be here in Tucson at Casino del Sol's Ava Amphitheater on July 14th. I want to talk about the album first, and then we'll talk about
Okay.
your show here in Tucson, if that's cool with you.
All right, cool. Yeah.
All right, so the new album is called Orgy of the Damned, and we've played Killing Floor with Brian Johnson on there. Of course, I noticed Steven Tyler in the background playing the harmonica, and also you did the tune with Chris Stapleton
Yeah.
doing one of my favorite Fleetwood Mac tunes, "Oh Well." How did you get these guys to, you got multiple people on this album from what I hear. How'd you get them all together?
I would, I'd pick what song I wanted to do, and then I would think who it was that I should sing it in my mind, and get in touch with them and run the idea by them. And like in the case of Brian Johnson, he was totally excited about the whole thing, and he loves Howling Wolf and had a big influence on. And this was all sort of new to me. The idea of having to sing was just intuitive, but then I don't know that much about Brian outside of AC/DC. Like I don't, and Geordie. I don't know a lot of his influences and stuff, but just something told me, that he would sound great on this song. But he was really excited about it, and we went into a studio in Florida where he lives, and he just did this great fucking version of it, and it was a lot of fun. It was special. And then when I came back to LA, Steven came down and put the harmonica on it. It was such a huge honor. You could almost pinch yourself to have these two guys who had such a massive influence on me, and then together on the one song, and all of us doing Howling Wolf, which was a huge influence on all of us. And so you have this whole generational thing going back, paying homage to a guy that deserves to be remembered for forever. So it was fun.
Well, the one thing I noticed with Brian's voice, it would seem a little bit more reminiscent of his Geordie work than his stuff with AC/DC. How did you get him to do that kind
I,
of
I,
vocal?
I
It's
did.
different than what we're normally hearing from him.
I think he just wanted to do justice to the original, and really sing it in that range. And also because he doesn't get to sing like he did back in the day, like AC/DC's everything is up here and high. So it was a great vehicle for him to do his bluesy thing. So, it was cool to have been the only person to able to capture that, since way back when.
Yeah, it sounded really, really great. And then the Steven Tyler thing, when I was watching the video, I was like, whoa, is he singing a little bit in there at all?
Yeah, no, he does some scat singing between some harp phrases. It's very cool, very spontaneous. I mean, he came down to my studio to do that, and I think we spent all of about 10 minutes getting that recording, And the whole record is like that. It's very sort of free form and spontaneous, which gives it a really cool vibe.
So who are some of the other artists you have on the album?
Paul Rogers is on there doing Born Under a Bad Sign. We got Gary Clark Jr. doing Crossroads. We've got Beth Hart doing Stormy Monday. Dorothy doing Key of the Highway. One of the singers for this actual band, Tash Neal, doing Living for the City, the Stevie Wonder song.
Oh, wow.
Hold on. I don't have the list in front of me. Chris Robinson doing The Pusher from Steppenwolf. Who am I leaving out? I can't think now. Oh, Demi Lovato doing Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
Oh, really? So
Really cool version of that. So,
you have a whole list. I mean, Chris Stapleton being known for country, you got a
oh,
whole
there
list
you go.
of
Yeah,
different
you got that.
genres.
Yeah. But he does Oh Well, which is one of my all-time favorite songs. And it's more of a rock and roll song, but it's Peter Green, so it's automatically blues as well. And I thought Chris would sound great on it, and he did. He put this great kind of tone, his drawl on there, and it's just so laid back and cool.
Where did you get the name Orgy of the Damned?
I just, like we were always taught when we were kids, or you heard about like in the 50s, especially when blues music was considered devil's music.
Hmm.
And I thought, well, what would, you get a bunch of people together collaborating on a blues record called Orgy of the Damned, right?
I love it. And so, how did you pick the songs on the album? I mean, obviously, you're playing some Steppenwolf in there, obviously going
Yeah.
back,
But
to the 30s and 40s, etc.
Yeah, everything had this stuff that I was exposed to that I really liked from being like really young all the way up until, I mean, it still influences me now. But the key catalyst for this was I had a blues cover band back in the late 90s. And I
Hmm.
used to sit in with bar bands all the time because that was the only vehicle where I could play just flat out blues, because Guns N' Roses isn't really a blues bass. I mean, it's a blues bass band, but it's not a blues band. Anyway, so I had this blues cover band, and a lot of these songs we used to do back then, I just picked them off the top of my head because they meant something to me. And so and I always wanted to record that, but I never got around to it. So all these years later, I finally decided to do it. And I went back and got those old set lists from back then and put a lot of those songs into this. And then I also had some songs that we didn't do back then that I wanted to do. Killing Floor was one of those. Living for the City we didn't do back then. Back then we did Superstition, that Stevie Wonder song. With some songs we didn't do because they would have been a little bit sort of corny or cliche to
Hmm.
record at this point in time. But a lot of these songs some of them are a little bit obscure, and then some of them are really well known, and they sort of straddle that line of being overdone. But I had to do it anyway. Like Born Under Bad Signs, a riff that I just had to record. But then there's a song on there from Iggy Pop that I hadn't really picked. I called Iggy because I heard that he has always wanted to do a blues thing. I read it. So my bass player told me he read it, and so I called Iggy and I asked him what song would he want to do, and he picked Lightning Hopkins' song called "Awful Dream."
Oh,
And
wow.
that was all Iggy, but he and I did it together, just he and I in an acoustic. It's really cool.
How long did it take to put the album together?
Well, we recorded all the music, pretty fast in a week, and we had some of the vocals were done live with us in the studio. Gary Clark flew in and did it then, and Beth Hart came and did hers then. But then it took about a month and a half to get all the different vocals cut. So I'd be walking around with my hard drive, going into different people's studios to record the vocals. But whenever you do a record with a lot of guest singers, you're always at the singer's, sort of mercy as far as schedule and also location and all that. So it goes with the territory.
So this new tour that you're doing, it's called the Serpent Festival.
Purple.
And I know Serpent is an acronym. What's it an acronym for?
It's an acronym. I mean, I'm going to read it to you because I forget. Solidarity, engagement, restore, peace, equality, and tolerance. And I just had this idea if we're going to do a blues festival, I wanted to do something that was all inclusive and to be a vehicle for bringing people together. And I wanted it to be a charity event as well. So trying to there's a lot of disenfranchised people out there, so I wanted to pick charities that were supporting people who are on the sidelines and having a hard time, and also mental health, which is a really big thing these days, and to be able to give back to the community that way. And it being a blues festival is very communal and just being more about bringing people together as opposed to driving people apart,
All right.
which has been going on pretty heavily as of right now. More so
Yeah.
than usual, I think.
Yeah, to
Anyway,
say the least.
yeah.
So you're going to be in Tucson on July 14th. Who is in your band?
The band. Okay, so the guys from the 90s, good friends of mine, real solid blues players, like that's what they do. Teddy Andreatis, vocals and keyboards, and then Johnny Griperic on bass. And then new to the fold is Tash Neal, who's a great blues singer that I got hooked up with some years ago, and he's on guitar and vocals, and then Michael Jerome Moore on drums.
And then any chance of and you also have some opening acts too, don't you?
Oh, no, it's a festival. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you got, okay, Eric Gale is on there, Kingfish is on there, Samantha Fish is on there, Jackie Vernon's on there, ZZ Ward is on there, Warren Haynes is on there,
Wow.
Kev Mo is on there. Trying to see. I have the list around here somewhere. I think that pretty much covers
Well,
it.
well, it's definitely an all-star lineup, all-star
Yeah,
blues lineup
yeah.
here.
Here, I'm looking. Oh, I know Robert Randolph. I almost forgot him, which is a big one. Anyway, so there'll be, I think there's on any given night, there's five of us all together playing one of these festival shows. And so there's different combinations throughout the tour. And then so there's definitely going to be some jamming going on. It's it's all very loose because it's a blues thing, which is I'm really looking forward to it. But then I'm going to try and get guests from the record in different cities wherever they may be and have them come up and sing the song from the record the way you heard it on the album. So it should be really fun.
That was going to be my next question. So thank you. That was going to happen. Well, we're talking to Slash right now. Orgy of the Damned, new album coming out May 17th. Going to be here in Tucson at Casino del Sol's Ava Amphitheater on July 14th. If people want to follow you, Slash, and find out more about the tour and find out more about the new album, where can they go?
Well, slash online is definitely a source for all of that information on there. I think the Serpent Festival has a website as well, but I don't
I think
know.
that's serpentfestival.com.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All
So
right. Well, Slash, I know you're busy and
I'm
I know you're
supposed
doing
to
a
know
ton of
this
these.
stuff.
It's okay, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking time with us here in Tucson, and I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to
no,
seeing the show.
I'm looking forward to coming down there and doing this. It's going to be great.
Going to be a blast. So thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, Slash.
Talking to you. Cheers.
All right. You take care. See ya.